On the 11th of August 2014, the world woke up to a silence it still hasn't learned how to fill. Robin Williams was gone, found in his Northern California home, and the laughter that once felt endless suddenly stopped. Years later, at 72, Pierce Brosnan finally spoke with a clarity shaped by time, grief, and reflection. What he revealed wasn't gossip or shock for shock's sake. It was a quiet, devastating truth about a man the world adored, but never truly understood. And once you hear it, it changes everything. Pierce Brosnan understood loneliness long before fame ever found him. Born in Ireland, abandoned by his father as an infant, and separated from his mother while she sought work in London, Pierce learned early how to stand alone. That solitude built resilience, but it also sharpened his empathy. When acting entered his life, it wasn't just an escape, it was connection. And decades later, that same instinct allowed him to recognize something familiar in Robin Williams. By the time Brosnan rose to international stardom, first with Remington Steele and later as James Bond, he had learned how fame could polish the outside while quietly eroding the inside. The tuxedos, the premieres, the applause, none of it guaranteed peace. Robin Williams, already a global icon by the early 1990 seconds, knew that truth even more intimately. He carried joy like a gift and a burden, offering it freely, even when it cost him everything. When their paths crossed on the set of Mrs. Doubtfire in 1993, the chemistry was instant. Robin wasn't just funny, he was electric. Pierce watched him move effortlessly from chaos to tenderness, from wild improvisation to moments so human they stunned the room into silence. Robin didn't perform at people, Brosnan would later say. He shared himself with them. But behind that generosity, there was something else. A depth that felt too heavy for laughter alone to carry. As filming days blurred into nights of exhausted smiles and unscripted magic, Pierce noticed the contrasts. Robin could fill a room with joy and then drift into quiet stillness moments later. It wasn't moodiness. It was something deeper. A man who gave endlessly, sometimes more than he had left. Behind the spotlight, the truth was far darker. Off-set, Robin treated everyone the same. Crew members, assistants, children, strangers. There was no hierarchy in his kindness. Brosnan remembered watching him stop mid-chaos to comfort someone having a hard day, or kneel down to talk eye to eye with a child who felt nervous. That humility wasn't an act. It was who Robin was, and it made his later silence even more haunting. As the years passed, Robin continued to work, to create, to give, but the struggle followed him. Health issues emerged quietly, confusingly. Anxiety tightened its grip. His mind, once his greatest weapon, began to betray him in ways no one fully understood at the time. Friends sensed something was wrong, but Robin, fiercely private, carried it alone. No one knew what was coming next. When news of his death broke, Pierce Brosnan described the moment as paralyzing. He sat still, unable to process it, feeling as though a light had gone out in the world. How could someone who gave so much joy be suffering so deeply? The question echoed everywhere. And for months, the answers felt painfully incomplete. Then came the truth that reframed everything. Robin Williams had been battling Lewy body dementia, a brutal neurological disease that attacks cognition, emotion, and identity itself. It explained the fear, the confusion, the quiet despair. For Brosnan, this revelation wasn't about rewriting history. It was about restoring dignity to a friend whose pain had been misunderstood. At 72, Pierce finally spoke openly, not to sensationalize, but to humanize. He described Robin as a man overwhelmed by what was happening inside his own mind. Terrified by a loss of control he couldn't outrun with humor. This wasn't weakness, it was illness. And hearing that truth brought both heartbreak and clarity. Robin's final days weren't dramatic. They were fragile, confusing, private. There were no grand goodbyes, just a man trying to endure something invisible and relentless. Brosnan believes the world owes Robin compassion, not judgment. What looked sudden was anything but. It was a long fight, fought quietly, bravely, and mostly alone. Today, Robin Williams' legacy remains untouchable. His films still heal people on their worst days. His words still echo in moments of loss. But Pierce Brosnan's truth adds something vital. It reminds us that even the brightest lights can be suffering in silence, and that kindness is often the final measure of greatness. Robin didn't just make people laugh. He made them feel seen. And Pierce, looking back now with the weight of years behind him, holds on to that above all else. The generosity, the humanity, the heart. They didn't just live, they became the story itself. What part of Robin Williams' journey touched you the most?